Hello and welcome to another episode of Quarantine Cooking with Tara, episode 9. And today I am cooking a General Tso's chicken, but it's not fried. It's actually done here on the stove and it's pretty good. We've had it once before. This one is actually a recipe, so there's measurements, unfortunately, because most of my recipes don't have measurements. So I'll be posting all of them as we go, but let's get. To make the sauce, you're first going to take 3/4 cup of canned chicken broth. Then you're going to either use cornstarch or flour, which I was using because I didn't have cornstarch. You're going to use 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch, or if you use flour, just 1 tablespoon, which is what I used. Next, you want to add 2 tablespoons of sugar or 2 tablespoons of a sugar substitute. As you just saw, I'm using Swerve, which I like much better than pure sugar. Next, let's add in 2 tablespoons low sodium soy sauce. You can use regular soy sauce if you'd like, but the recipe calls for low sodium since it's a Weight Watchers recipe. Next, add 1 tablespoon white wine vinegar. For the next ingredient, you can either use ground ginger or fresh ginger. I like the squeezed ginger, so that's what I use, but you're only going to use 1/2 teaspoon. Now that all 6 ingredients are put together in a bowl, grab a fork or a whisk and mix them together so that they all basically look like a really lovely smelling sauce. Sorry, I don't have a ton of flowery words to make this sound all fancy. It's a brown sauce, people. It's brown. It's ugly, but it smells good. And it tastes even better. If it wasn't clear, I'm dubbing all of this over top of video footage that I shot, so that might be why it sounds kind of strange. After you're done mixing it all together, just set it aside for a little while and get started on heating your oil in your skillet, along with adding your scallions, garlic, and red pepper flakes, or in my case, Sriracha. So for this recipe today, you're going to need peanut oil. And we're going to start with 2 teaspoons of peanut oil. And my chicken is not raw, so it's not actually going to need to be cooked for very long. So there's also going to be a lot of substitutions in this because unfortunately I ran out of scallions and I don't have red pepper flakes just yet. So we're going to use onions instead of scallions, and we're going to use Sriracha instead of red pepper flakes. All right, so let me turn this on a medium heat. I just chopped a little bit of onion up so that I can put that in there. As for garlic, it's calling for 1 medium clove, but we're just going to guesstimate on that one. For red pepper flakes, it wants 1/4 teaspoon, but we're just going to put a little bit of that in there. All right, so let me stir this all together. I tend to like things pretty spicy. Keith is kind of, he leans towards spicy, but I don't know, I feel like sometimes I like more spice in him. So I didn't go as heavy on the sriracha as I probably could have. So this should be just fine for him. I'm gonna let this heat up a little bit. So this recipe also calls for rice, which we're not going to make. We're going to use another one of our bird's eye steam fresh rice cauliflower, but this time I have a roasted garlic. We've not tried this one, so I'm pretty excited to try this one. Didn't look like it was getting hot. So once all of this heats, then we're gonna add the chicken. We're gonna let that saute for probably like 3 to 4 minutes, and then we'll add that sauce we just made. Now we are both big General Tso's, I'm not exactly sure how to say it, but we're big fans of eating it in the restaurant. But unfortunately with it being fried, we typically can't really eat it anymore. So I found this version, which is, you know, I wouldn't say it's as tasty as fried chicken, but it's pretty close. And it's pretty easy to make, which I like. We want to keep this in here for a little bit until they turn clear. That's when you know that they've softened. All right, so I'm going to add our chicken in. So I'm still using that Tyson frozen chicken that I first got. I'm kind of waiting to use it before I start working into our frozen chicken breast. So I'd kind of like to use this up. So I'm just mixing it around so all the sauce gets on there. As I said earlier, this chicken is already cooked, so it's not raw, so it's not going to take very long to actually do this. So next I'm going to add in our sauce. One more little. Like I should have added more chicken. Alright, so we're going to let this simmer a little bit. So I didn't have cornstarch, so I found flour is a good substitute. So I substituted flour in its place because you want the sauce to thicken up because you want to have this to put kind of over the chicken and the rice. Honestly, I think though, if you were gonna do this recipe, I would say add more chicken than what I did. Like I said, I'm trying to get through what I have. And I didn't want to bust out the chicken breast. I think I only have a little bit more of this, so I probably should have used it all, but I'm not about to go get it now because it's still frozen. But I don't know if you can tell, but it's definitely starting to thicken up. Tastes good. Well, that's a winner. So I'm going to turn this down to about a 4. And essentially, once this is done, you just pour it over rice. I mean, it's really that simple. This is also a dish if you want to add other vegetables like broccoli or peppers. We like broccoli a lot, so we usually have that in a lot of meals. Unfortunately, I'm out of broccoli right now. I just put in an order for more. The only broccoli we have has cheese in it. I didn't think that that would be a really good mix here. Call me crazy, but yeah, I just didn't think it would. All right, so I'm just gonna let that be for a minute. Do our rice for 4 minutes and 30 seconds. I mean, I don't know, this is an interesting one because like I said, I had to follow a recipe. So I'll make sure to post that recipe so you can kind of follow along and see what you need. There you go. And if you have chives, I would just sprinkle it over top. And if you wanted any color, you could do like a red pepper or something as well. Or add a little extra sriracha on top, which is probably what I will do. But that's it. Pretty tasty. It smells really good. I wish you could smell it. Can you smell it? No, I didn't think so. All right. Well, thank you for another episode with us, or me. All right, enjoy. All right, so today's episode, I really hope you enjoy what we made. It's kind of a little more difficult for me to do a recipe when I'm having to follow it and talk to camera. I get distracted and stumble all over myself, so I apologize, but I hope that this wasn't too terribly boring for you and that you actually understood what I was doing and how to make the meal. So my dog's running crazy, so. All right, well, enjoy your meal, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments on what you thought. Can you guess which one's mine? Yeah, I added more sriracha. So what do you think?
It's very good.
Well, you said it doesn't taste like General Tso's chicken.
Yeah, but I won't say that.
Okay.
Are you taping me right now? Mmm. Tastes just like General Tso's chicken.
No, it doesn't.
Keep going. Take 5.
Take 12.
It's very good. It almost seems like it's a combination between sweet and sour chicken and General's chicken. I don't think it tastes quite like General's chicken because it's not breaded. But I know it's better for you, but it tastes really good.
What about the sauce? Does it taste similar?
It's got a little bit of a sweet and sour taste to it, but it's definitely got the spice from the General's. So it's good. I enjoy it. I'll eat my bowl full.
2 thumbs up.
And always drink Coke.
Always drink. Why?
I was hoping for a Coke sponsorship.
All right, I'm leaving that in.